It's 1990 something. You're walking into a Blockbuster or Hollywood Video with a buddy of yours. You find yourself walking up to a shelf that had a bunch of anime lined up on it like Dragon Ball Z, Ghost in the Shell, or even Evangelion. You would then pick up one of the VHSs or DVDs, looking at it, imagining what possibilities that lie within the world of that particular story. Do you remember that growing up? I sure did. What a time to be a kid. What a wonderful and exotic time. Hi, you can call me Script, and this is Anime in the 90s. You know what I liked about anime growing up? It was this mesmerizing and magical medium that had some undeniably alluring appeal to it. It was something that always drew me, captured me even. Anime was something mature, yet more understandable, like a bridge between adulthood and childhood. Some people like anime because for them, it's like an older brother letting you hang out with him and his friends, but they do stuff that interests you. That's what I'd like to think a child's anime experience is most of the time. It's an altered taste into a slightly more mature world. Man, I remember it so clearly, even now. Those days of experiencing anime through countless video store rentals and a slowly growing collection of VHSs. Slayers, Ninja Scrolls, Soul Bianca, all of these and more were a part of my childhood, a part of who I am, a part of who I will be. You know what was so great about all this? For me, it was a time where you could find a video store in every town and walk into a library of entertainment. I loved just walking down the aisles of videos and finding new things to get into, things I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. I loved the idea of being introduced to movies and shows I've never heard of before. I actually got to go through entire collections of genres and discover the animes and shows myself. I remembered paying $14 a month so that during the month, me and some other people could rent out as many movies as we wanted during that time. The VHS and I go way back. In fact, some of you may or may not know this, but my first anime was Iria, Zedam the Animation, a 6-episode miniseries that was released onto 3 separate VHS tapes. It was an OVA, so it was straight to video, rather than being first aired on TV like most of today's anime. The music, the characters, the style, all of it was enthralling to me. Being a kid, there wasn't anything that could compare to this as far as cartoons went. It's because of my brother's copy of the anime that I would be able to watch the same show countless times throughout the years. The tape I had was the first volume out of the series. For those of you that don't know, VHS only had 2 episodes per volume back then. I would watch those same 2 episodes so many times that even now, if I was to watch the first 2 episodes of Iria, I could tell you what they would say next, word for word, line for line, as I'm watching it. You know, I've always had an appreciation and fascination for Iria. It was my first anime, on VHS of all things. And while I'm on that note, take a gamble, give it a go. Sure, it may not be the perfect anime, but I will say for a 90s American distributed anime, it garnished quite the cult following, even going as far as being featured as fan art in an issue of PlayStation magazine. One of the many things I liked about anime on VHS was how some sets of anime would have a wide art spread appear if you were to put all the VHS boxes side by side of each other. It was a great motivator into getting me to collect the rest of the series. Like putting together a puzzle, it was a fulfilling sense of completeness. Another thing I liked about anime VHS was how some of them would come in art boxes. It's true, anime is still released in box sets even today, but they're either more of a overpriced Blu-ray set or a couple of thin slipcovers. It's not quite the same, and for some reason art boxes, even DVD ones, sorta just stopped being a thing since a few years ago. You know what's something I've noticed? So many of us are in such a rush to grow up that when we finally achieve adulthood, we immediately look back to a time that is now lost to us. For those of you who have yet to leave your childhood behind, take a moment, look around. Enjoy it while you can. The moment the ball of your adulthood starts rolling, there's no stopping it. It'll just keep rolling down that hill. Most of you who watch this are already past that point mentioned, and that's fine. That's life. The important thing is that you still hold value as to what was then, as well as keeping a front foot forward as to what is now. You may look back, but do not step back. To step back would mean to belittle what you are now. Whether you are a product of the 90s or a product of today, there is still an appreciation to be had for what the decade had represented. It was the puberty of anime, the mid-bloom of a beautiful medium. For those of you watching this, whether you're young or old, I hope with this new series I can either help show you a couple things about this older era, or help you reminisce about it. As always, this is Script Weaver, saying ciao.